Hi, folks. If you've been here the past few weeks, you know that we've been putting out a lot of information about email lists, how to build, grow, and engage with your list. Well, tonight, we're going to try to put all that information into action and really help you build that email list up. I'm Michelle. I'm with Digivangelism. We are here every Tuesday sharing bits of digital ministry goodness with you so you, progressive spiritual leader, can share your message of hope, healing, and light with the world. Now, let's get into it. So we're going to first talk about the why, the how, and the what. And we're going to get into some presentations and an actual demo of creating a landing page in MailChimp. First screen share will be presentation. How, why do you even need a landing page? What problem is it solving? What components are on it? How is it built? What's important about it? And then we're going to go right into the demo of creating a landing page in MailChimp. Get on board, get a snack, get some coffee. Come on, join us. So as we have journeyed together in these past few weeks in the land of email, we have talked about this concept of a lead generator and maybe a little bit about a landing page. So what we're going to do now is talk about the elements of a lead generator and then where it will live on the landing page. And then we will demonstrate how to make that in MailChimp. So you as a progressive spiritual leader, you may have this question. How can we use the digital space to share our message of hope, healing, and light to those who need it? Well, what types of digital tools are available to help us solve this problem? And we know one obvious thing comes to mind, and that's social media, right? There are a plethora of social media tools and a website that help get your message out there. But one thing that we think often gets overlooked, and that's email. Email is not dead. Email is still very much alive, and it is something that you control. And there are ways to share your message and grow your email list at the same time. And that's with this thing we call a lead generator. So the components of a lead generator simply are, is your message of hope, healing, and light on any of these example topics that we've come up with. Now, these could be a 5 to 10 page document of prayers, devotions, a series of prayers, a prayer guide, self-care awareness, anything that you either curate or write or have at your disposal that you think would be of value to anyone coming across your website or your social media, and you'd want to engage with them and get them to join your list in your community. So you have your document together. Now, this can be created and as a downloadable, either a PDF document or a video message is good, or some kind of a playlist, or even a link to exclusive content. And what happens then? It has to live on publicly accessible, internet accessible place like a Google Drive, your Dropbox, the website server that hosts your website, or even your email server. And ultimately, this is called, it's what's known as the lead generator. This is the document. The video, the playlist is your lead generator. Sometimes it's called lead gem or lead magnet. And so what happens now? So on the landing page itself, it starts with an engaging image or graphic or just a nice gradient color in the background. And then we'll have a text area with your message that's personal and could resonate with potential visitors. And it's not just a please join our list, or it's something a little more personal and engaging. And we've just come up with a couple examples here. And then you display the form is displayed that obviously asks for their name and email address. Now, email address is obviously required. Name is not, but it is a good idea to get a first name so that you can make your emails then more personal. And you have your submit button. And I always suggest putting a nice message on the submit button rather than just submit or enter or something. I like, just gives it another personal touch. And then this message down here, this is required to be on your forms when you're asking for an email address, especially if they're going to be joining a list and you're going to be sending them email on a regular basis or on some basis, because you have to let them know, this is full disclosure, that they are joining an email list and that they can unsubscribe at any time. And the ultimate goal of this is the email that gets delivered to the visitor with a nice thank you, perhaps, and any other message you'd like to relay, a way to contact you or more information. And then, of course, the link to the downloadable resource that you have created. Now, those are the elements of the lead generator. And now we're going to see how you actually put all those pieces together and make it into a landing page. Okay, here we are in MailChimp. We've talked about the components of the landing page and the components of the lead generator. So how does that all go together? So I'm using MailChimp, the free version. You might be using another one. The steps are probably the same. The buttons, the edit features, a little bit different likely, but the whole concept should be similar. So we're going to create our landing page. We're going to give it a name. And we're going to select our audience. I want an audience here, hope you only like. And we can select a template. Now, you can do this entirely from scratch and pick a template and remove all of the elements. But why would you want to do that? Get a little head start. So we're going to pick a relatively simple template here. It has not too many sections, and you can see it's fairly simple, fairly easy to customize. So for my purposes here, I don't want a logo, but I do want a picture up there. So here's some building blocks of other items you could slide over. And we'll slide an image up there and get that in there. I'm going to put that image there. Okay, here is your main heading area. So the big title that gives what they'll be downloading, what you're offering here. This next area is, and these are all totally up to you if you'd want to populate these or not. Maybe just a little bit about what the document is about and what they can expect. And make that black, because we're going to put a color behind here. And here's another little area. When we said if you want to make it a little bit more personal, we would love to connect with you. And that's a different font, so I'm going to make it a little bit more like the others, that bold. And down here is the actual area of the form where you're going to where the visitor will enter their email address. Obviously, that's a required field. These are the other fields in my particular audience file, but yours can be different. Hope you have a first and last name. However, I'm going to try to collect the first name. I'm not going to require it, but if they fill it out, gives it a more personal touch. When you email in the future, you can add their name to the subject line, as we talked about in other videos in this series. So we're going to do that. And we're going to clean up some areas down here. Now, here you can put something about your community, welcoming them in and relaying that you hope they get some good info out of the document you're creating or they're downloading. But we're going to get rid of it for our purposes. You don't need this. And actually, the simpler you make this, the more likely it is to be used, actually, because people won't get distracted by all the other text and the buttons. You certainly don't want them to leave this landing page and go to be distracted by other areas here. So we're going to remove these blocks so we sync up this little part here. We're going to change this area to be a more muted color. So here's a nice touch too, is to be able to stylize the buttons and the box here. So we talked about that subscribe button being a little more personal. And you can put a little message in here. And we can stylize that by making the font a little bit bigger or bold. leave the color black. You can actually change the background color of the button if you'd like. We'll leave it that color. One thing I like to do here is soften up these edges of the box, make them a little bit round. And you can make the hover feature of the button a little bit more interesting. Just come if you'd like. There are a variety of sizing and alignment features most likely available in your tool that you'll use. So let's give this all a little bit of color. Now we can give color to the different sections here, but we don't want to get too crazy. So let's come down here and give the overall area a background color. Maybe something a little more muted, like that. Okay, looking good. Now here is probably the most important part of this is the actual lead generator, what you've created, right? So in this particular feature here in MailChimp, we're going to change this confirmation message. Right? You can make this anything you want. They will not get an email, but this message will appear on their screen as soon as they put in their email address. Thank you for joining us. Yes. I know. I'm so glad you're here. And here's the whole point of this. Click here to download your Lenten guide. Certainly we'll make this a little bit bigger. So we can put that in the middle. And here's where we're going to select any text that you want in here and link up your downloadable. Now we have it linked. I have it inserted into MailChimp, my MailChimp server. So I'm going to point to the file. I know it's this one. It's the only one I have in there. I'm going to insert that and insert there, and it becomes a clickable link. Now, a lot of stylization and customization is available here. You don't have to get crazy. Your purpose is to serve up your lead generator to people visiting your landing page. So we're going to save and close this. And we're going to go back in here. We're going to edit our page titles Lenten guide. URL is what it's going to be, what you're going to use to put it on your social media, on your website, to get people to sort of start advertising that. So here's an important thing too, is your audience. When people sign up through this box, you want to tag them so you know where they came from, just for informational purposes or tracking purposes, or to see how successful your landing pages are. So I had added Lenten Guide 2020, so I'll add that tag. And I'm just going to publish this. Yeehaw. And we're going to see what it looks like right away. So there it is. Let's see. I'm going to see if this actually works. We'll see what happens here. You can see success. Thank you for joining us. We're so glad you're here. Click here to download your guide. So they're going to click here and they're going to get your devotional, your guide, whatever you have put out there. So in some instances, usually with website builders, you can have the ability to send an email immediately and they would click that. What you would do in a normal setting after they have joined your list would be to immediately or the next day send out another more formal welcome email with information about your community, information about how to contact you, or any next steps, or anything you would like to put in a welcome email. So let's go back here. Go to, this is out now a campaign. It's called in MailChimp. And you can edit this again as much as you want. It will, and you have to republish it. And it's probably the same in other tools. And that is about it for MailChimp. If you have any questions, drop us a note, comment, email. We're on all the social platforms. We'd love to see your landing pages and how you get people on your list and engaged with your community. I hope you've enjoyed the series. Stay in touch. Well, that was a lot. I hope you found that helpful. I hope you found the last few weeks helpful. All the previous blogs and videos are linked over there or maybe down there. So if you've liked what you've seen these past few weeks, please follow along, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, get on our email list. We are dropping stuff every Tuesday, and we have some special, great, marvelous stuff coming up in the next few months. And best of all, Sammy will be back next week, I promise. Peace.